Hello, Rough Rider Nation, and welcome to the Rider Report, the ins and outs of Yavapai College athletics. I'm Brad Clifford. I'm the athletic director here at Yavapai College, and I'm joined today by Ryan Coughill, our head baseball coach. Ryan, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Well, last time we spoke was this summer. We talked about recruiting, and you were in the middle of it, and I'm sure it didn't end until probably the 1st of September. How'd recruiting go for us?
Recruiting went year-round, but we had our ups and downs, and you always do. You get some kids, you lose some kids, but at the end of it, the only thing that matters is who shows up on campus, and I really enjoy the team that we have and think it's a talented team. Kyle, Jerry did a great job in the recruiting process.
You know, I always say this, and people don't understand that recruiting baseball is much different than recruiting volleyball, recruiting soccer, recruiting the other sports, because it goes into the fall semester, quite honestly, to have a team for that same year.
Yeah. Well, baseball is a specific need. You don't just need 2 pitchers or 3 pitchers or 1 point guard or 1 goal scorer. Not to say it's harder or easier than any other sport, but the whole idea with baseball is just filling the missing pieces. And we did that. You have to do it year-round in order to get it done. And when you get it from both ends, Major League Baseball and Division I schools, sometimes it's challenging. But on the same token, you also get some kids that show up because of Major League Baseball and because of four-year schools. So you had your JoJo Romeros and Willie Calhouns and some former players like that show up for those reasons. So, it's just inevitable, and it's however you handle it and however you bring in the quality people and quality players to help you win games.
Right. All right, we had some monsoons. We had a lot of monsoons, and just back to back, and they kind of decimated the fields a little bit. But we're back playing. We're on the field, and there's still some work, obviously, to be done on the field, but it's playable now.
The field looked unbelievable before monsoons. Just before the last flood, it was as good as it's ever looked. And then it was as bad as it's ever looked. And thankful to coaching staff and facilities at Yavapai. A lot of support systems really just took that on, and it's an ongoing issue, but they really helped, and that thing looks beautiful now. So as good as it can be.
Right. At this point, as good as it can be. It's one of the prettiest settings in the conference, I think, as far as a baseball field goes. So we'll keep it that way, I'm sure.
With kids work hard at it. Coaches work hard at it. There's some pride in it, and it's a good fan experience. It's good for players to be able to play on that and have some pride for it. So really thankful. Not thankful for the weather, but thankful for overcoming it with our facilities and kids, and they did a great job.
Yeah. We've played some games, obviously, this fall. We're coming to our last fall series in this coming Saturday. Mm-hmm. How's the team? How do you feel about the team as we go into our last weekend of fall baseball?
Yeah, Gateway comes in. It's a well-coached team. They'll always play hard. Our team is extremely talented, not an issue. Our team has a lot of newspaper clippings. So you've got a #1 junior college prospect in the country, and you got some Division I kickbacks that had pretty good high school careers that were ranked so high on whatever recruiting website and came from a Pac-12, and there's a lot of newspaper clippings, and you find out real quick that Gateway or Central or Cochise could care less about your newspaper clippings because they have them too. So learning effort, learning focus, learning a process is what they're really bought into right now. So I'll give the kids a lot of credit. They're bought into that. It's not talent that win games, it's the it factor, and they're working on it.
Our conference, we talk about our conference a little bit because I feel, this is my personal opinion, and agree with me or not, I feel this is one of the top 3 conferences in the country, junior college-wise. Mm-hmm. We've seen a lot of good success, especially at the national level from this conference. Yeah,
the conference and the district as well. It's just extremely competitive and no days off. And I love that because welcome to the rest of your baseball career if you want to keep on climbing up the ladder. So you don't want a day off. You don't want to play a weak opponent. You want to play a strong opponent because it makes you stronger, and our conference certainly does that, and I think that's why our conference represents well every year nationally.
We have a new additions to our baseball staff. Coach Suko, what can you tell us about
Coach him? Suko is awesome. Came from Brophy Prep, and we've talked about him in the past. Works with the USA Committee for baseball, and just completely different than Coach Dawson, Coach Wise, and myself, and that's a great thing. He's realistic, he's optimistic, he's weathered some storms, and he's overcome some things in his life that really helped the development of our kids, and he is a player-first coach. His wife, bless her heart, lets him keep doing what he's doing, and extremely grateful to have all of our guys on staff, but Coach Suko helping us out this year.
So we've talked about this a little bit in the past. As you go through the fall season, what do we find as strengths? What do we find as weaknesses?
Good up the middle. You know, as far as on the baseball field, we're good up the middle, behind the plate, on the mound, middle of the infield, and you know, I think we've got 3 guys that can play center field. Have some chance to be dynamic offensively. A couple guys that can hit the ball to the park, and you know, 6 or 7 guys that can steal a base in a lineup. So whenever your pitching's on, sweet. Whenever it's not, you got a chance to win a game still. Still working on, you know, getting rid of some of the newspaper and the ego, and that's something that you always have to battle. But we're way ahead of the game with that, with the team stuff, and as we continue to go, it's just the process of grinding it out every day, and no days off. The more days off you take, the worse you are.
So we go into our final weekend with Gateway this coming Saturday, and then you take the next 2 months off, essentially, and we get ready to go come late January.
Yeah, we'll shut it down pretty much as a team, except for weight room and study tables and grade checks and things like that. So we'll hit the books hard, we'll hit the weights hard, we'll do some individual stuff down on the field. Pretty limited to what we can do with the NJCA and what we're obviously willing to do as a staff, because it's time to take a little break and catch up with weight room and studying. But perfect, we're right on track where we need to be. Kids are bought into what the process is and the schedule and, you know, the development, and they're being patient. So I'm excited for November. I'm excited for our kids to have a little break and hit the reset button with a little bit of battery recharge and get going in January.
And we go January, last weekend in January.
Yep.
January in Las Vegas, as we do every year, against some very stiff competition.
Yeah, we won't be a game there that you look at and you think, okay, there's a W, and that's what we like, because that's what you have come conference. So it's a tough preseason schedule, but I wouldn't want it any other way.
You don't win a national championship in the first few games of the season anyway.
No, it's a process, and it's, you know, getting some adversity, and you can't really figure out your adversity unless you're playing a tough competition. So
Exactly.
That's all part of it. You know, you got to beat good teams to be a good team.
Good. Let's change gears a little bit and talk about the World Series. We have a Yavapai College representative there with Ken Giles, and he's getting his knocks, but boy, he got him there. He helped get him there for sure.
He helped get him there. He had a great year. He's figuring out, I think, right now what it's like. I don't know this, but what it's like to be in a World Series,
right?
Along with Kershaw and along with Coughill, I think his name is, and there's some pitchers struggling, some hitters struggling, and welcome to the World Series, I suppose. So Kenny's a good dude. He'll be just fine. He'll overcome some adversity, and if anybody can do it, he can, because he cares, he works at it, and he's good enough. So that's all it takes.
And he's young. I mean, he was only here in 2011, I think, and so he's still young in the major leagues.
Yeah, I think now with the age of the major leaguers going down and down and down, you look at a guy like Kenny, who, I don't know, is 26, 27 or something, maybe not even that old, and you expect him to be this Mariano Rivera mentality, and he's got to learn things, and he'd be the first one to admit it. So welcome to the rest of your career. You're going to struggle, you're going to have success, and there's probably something in between there that keeps you.
Well, he'll be there for a lot of years to come.
No doubt.
You had a chance to talk to Willie Calhoun before he when he got the call up.
Yep, didn't think he was going to get a call up. He did. His first big league at bat, he got a hit. He called and updated us and saw the best curveball he's ever seen the first pitch, and the second best curveball he's ever seen the second pitch. So welcome to the big leagues, I suppose. He rolled it through the infield, and I think a couple weeks later he got a home run off Verlander. So he was stoked. He's excited for the offseason, get ready to compete to be on a 40-man next year.
Boy, that's something you can tell your kids about. Yeah, I had a home run. My first home run was off Justin Verlander.
It's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic. We appreciate you being with us today. Rough Rider Nation, come out and watch us play here this weekend, this Saturday, November 4th, against Gateway, final weekend of the fall season, and then we'll get going on come January on our quest for hopefully another chance trip to the World Series. So follow us on www.goroughriders.com, Twitter, Facebook. Wherever you are, we'll be seen. And as always, Rough Rider Nation, go Rough Riders.